Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be across the globe. Here we are today in season 6, week 9, but a little bit of an ancillary match as we are covering the Button Cup matchups here between the US and the EU. Representing the US will be G-Men, and representing the EU is going to be BossFight. I am your host today, Sleepy, with two threes, and I am here with my co-caster, Mr. Noman, with a 4. Say hi to the people, everybody. Noman.
How's it going, people? Thanks for joining us. Pretty excited to see this matchup. Two awesome teams going at it in this Button Cup series. What do you think's going to happen today?
Yeah, that's a good point. I have no idea. All I know is that I need more coffee. It is way too early for me to be thinking analytically and casting these matches. But you know what? I'm doing it for the love of the Button Cup.
Absolutely. I'm stoked. I'm a cup coffee deeper than you are, I think, and I'm ready. I'm ready to bring all the action.
Don't brag. Don't like a bragger. Of course, I want to thank anybody who is tuning into the match. I know this one's early for some of us, especially those of us here on the west coast of the U.S. But for the EU, I'm sure they're all out with their little pennants and their popcorn and their foam fingers, and they're cheering on Boss Fight, who should be able to put up a good show here. I think this is going to be an exciting match for us today. Something great to really start off the day's cast with. We will see another cast later from Nightfire and myself as we cover Stone Cold Killers versus Noman's brother team, Ember, as they battle it out later on today in our regular Week 9 matchups.
Yeah, it's going to be a really exciting game. I'm stoked to watch it. Bummed I can't cast it, but I think it's going to be a really good one to tune into if you're going to be up and around and looking for some action at that time.
Right. And it does look like we have now our map bans. Luckily, the home away score is right. The G-Men did win the infamous Button Cup pistol duel to determine that they will be hosting. And it seems that we're going to have the first ban be coming out from Boss Fight. They are going to ban Tanker. Almost like the new Subway when it comes to banning, just all the time. And then they are going to have G-Men banning Suburbia. Probably a pretty smart call from the G-Men there. Boss Fight are a pretty dominant team on Suburbia, so I'm not necessarily upset with that pick. And then we're going to start off the maps today on Bazaar. So we're going to see a nice intro to the action. Will probably be a little bit slower considering the playstyles of both teams, but overall I think we're going to be getting good action no matter what.
Always, these two teams, there hasn't been a match I've watched yet where there's not a lot of, albeit maybe a little bit slow, but lots of excitement. Some really good plays, and I'm excited to see who comes out on top.
Yeah, I am too. I don't personally have a dog in the US-EU battle. I mean, obviously, I'm from the US, so would I prefer the US to win? Yeah. Do I necessarily agree with the argument of the skill difference between divisions? No, not particularly. I mean, at a certain point within the standings, yes, I agree that maybe there is some differentiation, but at the top, I feel like all the teams deserve to be there. I mean, so far as we've seen, all of the matchups here in the Button Cup have been really close. So I really don't think that there's much room to go on when it comes to the argument here. But we're here to give you coverage of that so that everyone can watch and be happy. And we do have all players in the lobby, so we're just going to be ready for you guys here. And while I get some cameras set up, why don't we give you guys a little bit of an intro as to what is Bazaar. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Bazaar. And as we said, that will be our first map of the day. Should be an exciting one. We shouldn't have to wait too much longer here as both teams are fully into the lobby. I'm just going to go ahead and notify the host man. Casters are ready when you are. So, if we could talk about it real quick, Noman, what are you thinking today? Who do you think is going to be able to edge this one out? I know it's hard to give a prediction with matchups like these, but in your opinion, who do you think should be able to edge out the other team?
You know what? I think that depending on some of the maps that are chosen, so now we've seen the bans being Tanker and Suburbia, two of the smaller, more tighter maps taken out of the rotation. I think those favor the slightly more aggressive NA play style. So I mean, based on the starting map of Bazaar, which I believe is G-Men's choice because they are home, I think we're going to see a little bit heavier of a favoring towards BossFight some of these plays. I think Bazaar lends itself to that sort of slower, more methodical gameplay just because there's so many angles, so many areas to check, so many windows. And I think if BossFight can wear down G-Men a little bit, make them a little bit antsy, I think they could definitely take this first map and kick the series off strongly. But I guess the real key is going to be which two maps we're going to play after.
Agreed. I think that was a good analysis and a good breakdown. But as you heard, round is getting ready to start. We have a West Red Truck, West Alleys objective. Marsoc going to be spawning down in the southeast. We'll take a look at the overhead map as the teams break out into their initial spreads, and then we'll take it from there. It looks like D-Men going to send a 3-2 split. 2 men running north towards the main bazaar. 3 going to run towards the southwest alleys. Seems like we've got a little bit of some aggressive defensive smoke coming out here from BossFight.
Yeah, Scooby's using that smoke to get up into the blue room, try to watch that cross. Although for right now, that smoke is doing double duty and blinding him as well as the enemy team.
Quick glimpse back at our overhead map here. I'm liking what I'm seeing from the BossFight defense. They aren't too far from the objective that everyone should be able to rotate around with enough time if a cap attempt was to be made. They've got all the angles covered. It looks like they're doing that pretty well. So it'll be interesting to see how G-Men counter this defense and try and push.
Yeah, it's a very slow offense for what I would have expected from G-Men. They're trying to catch these early picks, and as we were talking about before, BossFight is not likely to be one of those that makes a mistake and runs out and peaks. I mean, if you notice on the map, most of them are staying pretty solid. They're holding their angles, and I think G-Men are going to have to make some moves in order to get any kind of rotations out of BossFight right now.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I did do a boo-boo and leave that overlay up. Luckily, no shots have even come out, so you're fine. Don't worry. It's 10 in the morning. Okay, give me a damn break. Anyways, you were saying?
They are, yeah. Well, just like you said, the status hasn't changed quite yet. G-Men's still sort of watching a couple of angles, hoping that BossFight slips up, and so far, they're saying no, you come to us.
Oh, and that's smart. I mean, why would you necessarily run to the offense when all you have to do is sit back and watch the objective?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the biggest deciding factors for this push, and likely most of the pushes we're going to see from either side of offense, is going to rely heavily on that equipment usage, throwing down smokes, causing a little bit of panic, and moving it all at once. And I think we're going to start seeing that pretty soon as we're getting down into the halfway mark through the round, about 3.5 minutes left.
Are you seeing this? I've now had a teammate from each team now drop out. Have dropped from the match. I believe it was Chief on the team end side because I had just jumped to his camera to try and follow him up the Kiat, and then his guns just hit the floor. And then whoever it was backing up Scooby on the backside has dropped on the boss fight side as well. So not really sure what's going on here. I know a few of the players were saying they were having some trouble last night on the 1.3 rollback for VR Esports branch, but I haven't had too many issues. The dropping of players is a pretty new thing for me. Anyways, we see smokes coming out in tenfold as the G-Men now prep for their final attack. They are already aware that they've lost Chief, so they know they're going to have to do without one. Shots ring out from Honeyhalf. Fortunately, no connections made.
Which is good for him because those were towards a teammate. He's taking shots at Swooty in that southwest alley. Gotta watch those shots. Biggie Smalls moving in on Scooby, however, in this blue room. Scooby's likely unawares.
And he is totally unaware as Biggie Smalls gets the pick. Setting a 4-3 offensive advantage. Now Scorpio's going to need to be careful here because Biggie Smalls at the right angle is going to be able to take him out in his western defensive look. Or he's going to have to worry about Swooty just coming around the corner behind him.
Yeah, I think both of those statements are true. I think they're going to try to set this up as a refrag opportunity. If he takes shots on Biggie, Swooty's going to come around, try and maybe pop him through that window. He's got to try and stay as quiet as possible, though, so Scorpio doesn't hear him coming around back there.
Woody working his way in. He just heard Scorpio make the move, but Biggie's going to take him down beforehand. Biggie on fire in this round so far. He's picked up 3. Only 1 man left from BossFight, and it's just Weather Balloon. He's going to be on the objective, and as he comes out, Swooty able to get his kill that Biggie stole a moment ago. And overall, a great play from G-Men.
Yeah, that was very well played by them. They took their time. They waited for the opportunities. They came around corners very quietly, not to alert those very sentry-like positions that BossFight had taken up. And I think that's one of the disadvantages of having that sticky defense that we were talking about, is that, you know, if you stay too quiet and you stay too locked into a position, you kind of get complacent. You may not be checking your corners well enough or checking your 6 if no one's back there. And Biggie was able to capitalize heavily on that in that round.
And so it does look like we'll be on a bit of a slight delay. The G-Men have not quite recovered their 5th player. BossFight has gotten theirs back, and it looks like it might have been Legil that dropped in that last round. So he's back now. The full BossFight team is prepped and ready. However, we are still waiting on 1 member of the G-Men to get back.
Yeah, that round went down to 1 minute. I mean, that's something you're used to seeing with an EU offense. G-Men, not so much. You know, maybe not down to a minute. They do tend to run their plays relatively quickly, especially once they get that first blood. But it was kind of surprising to see them take it quite that slowly. I wonder if they'd been, you know, studying tapes and trying to figure out where BossFight gets a little squarely on their defenses and try to capitalize on that.
Getting some of the Twitch chat coming in and saying that I left the overlay on. Well, yes, I know I did. Thank you for letting me know, ladies and gentlemen. But just please remember that we do have a 6-minute delay, and I did catch it. Hold your horses. You're fine.
But I'm panicking. I mean, I'm panicking right now. How dare you set that overlay, Sleepy?
I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know why they gave me control of these casts. Like, it seems like a very foolish decision on the part of the casting moderators.
Yeah, the interview process is definitely relatively lax.
Do you want to cast? Yes.
Sleepy.
Are you sure? Yes. Okay, here you go.
Yeah, there's a lot of learning on the fly in this, and if anybody else wants to join the casting team, you are more than welcome to try out and give it a shot. See if you leave the overlay up once or twice, and we'll be happy to be in the Twitch chat and let you know as well.
Exactly how you're doing. Exactly how. All right, let's check in on our teams here. It looks like we're still missing one from the G-Men. So,
I'm wondering if they're going to choose to take one of their 2 timeouts available to each team here to get that member back in, or there is rules in league play for taking too long in between rounds and possibly forfeiting that round and or map based on that time. So I think they have to be mindful of that. Hopefully we'll get him back in here relatively quickly.
and while we do that, why don't we take a little bit of a gander here at the matchups coming your way this weekend. At least the ones that will be cast. We will go ahead and just mention any of the others as well. Of course, as Noman mentioned, if you guys want to get into casting, we could sure use the help. We have been able to greatly expand our coverage, especially on the weekends where those of us here on the West Coast are able to help cast. But we could always use more, especially in the EU and on the East Coast, being able to cover those midweek games that happen at 4 o'clock my time while I'm sitting at work wanting to be home casting a match or watching that match. So yeah, if you're interested, hit up Nightfire, hit up myself, Scorpio, any of the league casters. We can get you on board and kind of get you set up, even give you some helpful tips and pointers on how to deliver a better production. But anyways, back to what we were talking about. Of course, today, Saturday, November 3rd, we have this matchup right here, G-Men versus BossFight. Later on today at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, so 7:30 Eastern and like 2 in the morning European time, we have Stone Cold Killers versus Ember. That one will be cast by myself and Nightfire. Then tomorrow, the 4th, we have a pretty early morning game, at least for us here on the West Coast. Beginners will be taking on VRAth. Be a pretty easy game for beginners if I were to put my predictions out early. Then tomorrow at noon, just about an hour after, we have the Hand of Death versus Spanish Union. So we have another one of the Button Cup matchups on the 4th as well. Same time as the Button Cup match, we have Cannon Fodder versus BossFight, looking to be a good one. Looks like Seth Bowden Gaming will be picking up that cast for those interested in watching. Also at 12 p.m. Gosh, is everyone just playing at the same time? People can't watch all of your games if you schedule them at the same time. Anyways, disregard that. We also have Big Red 1 versus Silent Purge. So Silent Purge probably looking to get back on top after their loss with us Danglers last week. Great match, but unfortunately they did not win it. Also tomorrow at 5, Tactical Illuminati and Ronin should be a nice little kind of mid-tier matchup tomorrow. I may actually pick that one up if permitted, but never mind, I can't because I'll be casting the Magnificent Bastards versus the Hand of Death at that same time here on Onward Master League 1. Then we have Phoenix versus G-Men, Rome versus the Great Apes, Danglers versus Blaze, where my team and Mr. Noman's team here will be battling it out against each other as we see if Blaze has what it takes to enter the gates, the pearly gates of the top tier team in the top 5.
Yeah, we're coming for you. Coming for you, Sleepy. Don't fall asleep. Blaze is gonna be there in your dreams.
I won't sleep this week. Sure, and if we lose, I'll never hear the end of it. Well.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun game. A little bummed that we can't find a casting slot open for it, but you can't cast them all, and that's another note for anybody who'd like to join. There's plenty of games cast at all different hours, like Sleepy said. Love to have you guys in here and chatting away with us, leaving overlays up, how we do.
Know how we do. We just do what we do, baby.
Very true.
All right.
It looks like we do have our 5th G-Men member back, Sleepy, so...
Yes, please get yourself out of my head, Mr. Noman. That is exactly what I was just about to say to you. But it's good to hear. No mention of if the timeout was used, at least not to me. Gonna be It's been a long one, so I don't know. Maybe BossFight just kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt and said, you know what, just get your guy in here. Or maybe Chief was just having issues with his ISP, his internet service provider, and that is what was holding him back. Who knows? But we've got 5 of 5 ready for BossFight, 4 of 5 ready for G-Men, so we should be kicking this off here at any moment in time. And I'm getting kind of tired of talking here, so if I could have some action to take the place of my speaking, that would be fantastic.
Well, I'm going to challenge you to speak some more because I'm going to ask you what maps you think we're going to go to.
Huh.
What do you want to see, I guess, is the question. Oh, well, we're going to kick off a round. We'll find out after this round kicks off what Sleepy thinks.
Alright, and BossFight going to get the Far Eastern tank objective, and it looks like Weather Balloon gonna pull a little Verd's Naoko action and bring out the shield on Bazaar. Does he have a taser, though? Has he pulled a full Stumpy?
Yes, the road.
Does not. He has a pistol. Understandable.
Yeah, we're going to see mirrored objectives and mirrored spawns, I believe, for this one as well, but BossFight choosing to take the longer north route around and throwing out some early smokes, giving away that position pretty early, stacking that north street.
Some good utilization of smokes. They do have a pretty big gap in the smoke there. I think Hoochie's going to remedy that now. Yeah, here we go. Another bad smoke coming out, unfortunately. Both hitting that Kiat sign and not getting where they wanted it to be, but that's fine. The whole BossFight team going to make a nice coordinated push here up the northern side.
Oh, what's very interesting here is they're using the same smoke and they're just moving up and tossing it up, pushing their way up the street. Very interesting strategy. Let's see if it works.
Not too effectively, unfortunately, is Chief Pineapple able to take down 3, and now it's only a 2v5, only 1 minute into the match. Unfortunately, this plan did not work out for BossFight at all.
Yeah, that is a surprising turn of events for me. What was even more surprising was the shield was nowhere to be found on that push.
And Biggie Smalls taking down Scooby-Doo there. Now it's all up to Weather Balloon, and that's going to be a tough thing to handle because he's only got a shield and a pistol at the moment. So unless he goes over to loot one of his teammates' bodies, it's going to be a really tough push for him. But I believe he's actually taking the smarter route here, which is to utilize the western alleys where he's got way more cover and he's got the ability to kind of duck back around corners, make a guy chase him, and then take him down with his shield. So I think he's playing it smart, but unfortunately I don't think it's going to work out for him, as it will be a really tough thing to 1v5 against 5 members of the G.
Yeah, I just can't believe that the shield wasn't a part of that push.
And Biggie giving Swooty the heads up that Weather Balloon was going to be coming through the alley, but he's now rotated. Chief Pineapple going to push hard on the north. He's going to suppress him with his LMG fire, but he's not going to be able to connect and find anything. But we see a grenade going out. Not going to have enough juice. Chief calls out his...
trying to get the free shot. I'm going to keep him from going more north, so I'll keep him over there.
Has redirected himself once again, not able to find any kills. Looking pretty tough this round for the BossFight, as G-Men are set to take point number 2 here, but never know, Weather Balloon could pull something out of his hat. I was going to say a different word, but I got to remember it's a PG channel.
I thought you were going to say shoe.
Oh.
Shoe.
Oh my
That's
God.
where most soldiers keep their tactics, is in their shoe. Just letting everybody know. A common phrase.
Okay, and I'm sorry, folks. I did it again. I left the overlay up for the pre-round. That's my fault. I think because of that delay, I got distracted. The fact that I had the pre-round. Yep. But anyways, if you missed it, Chief Pineapple taking down 3 on the north. Biggie Smalls grabbing 1 for himself. As you can see, all the X's on the map there in the north. That's where they all died. Woody now getting aggressive with the weather balloon man, but he's taken down by D-Man. Honeyhalf gonna push out from the blue room. I think he's gonna try and go for the res. But weather balloon gonna attempt to get the kills, and he gets it! But unfortunately, the man right there to kill him, getting the refrag and taking the win for G-Men. But he has to make up for that because, well, he team killed Swooty, so.
And I'm sure they won't let him hear the end of that.
Just like the chat's not going to let me hear the end of leaving the overlay up again.
You're dragging me down with you, Sleepy. You're going to color all of my future casts with don't leave the overlay on messages, and now we're fighting. Now I'm mad at you.
Oh.
I'm kidding. No, that was a great round. Luckily, I did manage to capture Chief's great play there as BossFight pushed up the street, and upon request, we'll make that available to whoever asks. While the overlay was on, it was a great play by Chief. One of the biggest things that you heard me say a couple of times was, where was the shield? It seemed like such a silly decision to have the shield rotate into the northwest courtyard area when the entire team was making this push. When just having one shield in front could have saved a whole bunch of lives there.
Yeah, it was a very interesting plan to have the shield so far detached from the main fire team. It seemed that it's a bit of a rogue call. And as we look at the scoreboards here, we'll see that that is reflected quite well. Chief Pineapple and Biggie Smalls both with 0 deaths. Chief pulling in 3 kills, Biggie grabbing 4. Swooty manages to pick one up. I believe that was in the end of the last round. And the man able to get one after team killing, or at least team downing Swooty. He's at 1-0 as well. Meanwhile, on BossFight, looking pretty slim, unfortunately. Weather Balloon, the only one with a kill, which was Honeyhalf in the last round. Every other member of BossFight unable to grab any points.
Yeah, we'll see if BossFight can turn it around here on this new objective. We're going to see the center Kayod objective. Really, I think a fan favorite for teams to try to attack. Lots of angles. Definitely stretches your defense pretty thin. I'm excited to see what BossFight does here. Being down 2-0.
Yourself.
And the G-Men are going to get the southwest spawn, so not quite as quick as they may like it, but it will be worth a watch. And please be advised to our audience that there is a bit of a map bug. I am only currently seeing 4 members of each team on my map, but there is 5 visually verified. Oh my goodness, and the team kills coming out from the G-Men this morning, just not going to do it. Luckily, he's able to still pick him back up, and they're back to 5, but that's a little bit of that healing utility being wasted.
Yeah, and it does a couple of things. It notifies the defenders of a position of Marsoc. It slows down your offensive push, makes you a little bit more cautious, generally speaking, so you're not quite as aggressive as you would have been, even though these teams are both relatively slow and methodical. There's quite a few downsides, even though he was able to pick him up in the end and continue moving forward.
Smokes have come out from Chief and Swooty as they begin their slow approach up the western alleys. Hoochie going to be in a pretty good spot to frag them as they come through, as long as they don't hear him first. The man, meanwhile, he's pushing on a far north objective push, and of course, as I say what he's doing, he's going to change it up completely and go a different route. So, you know what, man? I don't know if that was on purpose, and if you can hear me, but shame on you for making me look like a liar.
It's not your morning, Sleepy. It's
Not been.
not your morning so far. We'll turn it around. Just like BossFight has a chance to turn this around, you got a chance to turn your callouts around as we're seeing Marsoc push in from that west side a little bit more. Chief Pineapple and Hoochie getting mighty close to each other.
Chief's going to have to be aware of his noise making. Because if he pushes too much faster, it already looks like Hoochie's hurt him because he's got guns aimed, and he does. He takes down Chief Pineapple through the window of that dark alley there, just left of the pawn shop.
Yeah, we're seeing the same kind of defense here from BossFight that we're used to, holding tight angles, not rotating a whole lot, and just looking for G-Man to peek these corners slow, like Pineapple did right there, and get those early picks. And the Gil picks up Swooty on that northern side as he comes into that northwest window trying to get a peek. The Gil popping up at just the right moment to get that pick, and we're into a 5v3. BossFight up on the round.
Yeah, BossFight's defense pretty strong here. They got 3 men kind of in a nice even spread across the main bazaar, covering east, center, and west. They've got Scorpio and then Legil up in the north. The man, meanwhile, able to take down Hoochie. Good play for him. He's gonna help even the kills out there. And if we check our east side, we actually have 2 members of the G-Men. Well, 1 member and 1 reservist gonna come around. Honeyhalf not gonna be aware of Weather Balloon. Weather Balloon's gonna wait till he sees him, and he picks up Honeyhalf. It's now 2v4, and G-Men are looking like they are not going to be able to accomplish this attacking round.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see Biggie not supporting his teammates' push there. Generally, when you're getting that close to objective, you don't want to be too split up. You want to make sure you're close enough for refrag opportunities, and now Biggie's going to have kind of an uphill battle trying to penetrate that same section of the bazaar by himself.
Now we've got eyes on the man who was unaware of Legil's position, and Legil going to be able to shoot him in the back as he was approaching Scorpio. I thought we were going to see the firefight between Scorpio and the man, but unfortunately Legil there to back his boy up, and it's all going to be up to Biggie Smalls as he pushes in on the east side of the Kiat courtyard.
Yeah, he sees the body there. He should know that there is likely danger around the... Should be really cautious and really slow here. Weather Balloon not rotating after getting that kill, which is an interesting choice.
Ooh, and a trade, but with BossFight's larger numbers up, they take the win, and they get their first point here on the first map. Well done to them for making sure they at least grab 1 here and keep the series from being a closeout.
Yep, and as they turn it around, Sleepy, so will you. What a great round by BossFight there, holding their positions, losing a man but still having coverage, and keeping those angles really, really tight on the different entry points into the bazaar and cleaning up G-Men there.
Yeah, great play. G-Men gonna have to figure out what's going on. I think they've gone a bit colorblind today, as we've seen a couple of team kills here in the first few maps. But overall, they've been playing quite strong. BossFight not been able to stop their first 2 pushes, and then now finally they're able to get their first round win. So yeah, I think we're gonna be in for a long one. I think this is gonna take a bit of time to finish up. I don't think either one is going to go down without a fight.
Yeah, and the Twitch chat is live with predictions. Lots of cheering on for the different sides, NA and EU. Love seeing that passion from both sides. And surprisingly, not all EU people are for EU right now. Some are calling an NA win and vice versa. So I think it's going to be a heated game to match the heated Twitch chat we're seeing right now. Thanks, guys, for joining us on this Button Cup match between G-Men and BossFight as we go into round 4.
And if I scroll up a little bit, I see all the wonderful comments left by you, the viewers, about my overlay problems today.
I chose not to read those. They hurt too much, Sleepy. They hurt too much.
They do hurt. They hurt my feelings, and I'm gonna tell my mommy. So you know what? You guys just need to be nice, because if my mommy gets wind of this, you are all dead.
Yeah, we're in big trouble. Onward's the least of our issues, and we're gonna see mirrored spawns here. So boss fight approaching from that same southeast approach, and we're seeing a pretty similar defense. Not
Oh my
quite.
goodness. Look at this boss fight just running into the grinder as Biggie Smalls was unnoticed until it was too late. He picks up 2 right away within 30 seconds of the match start. Weather Balloon's gonna go, but Biggie's gonna find Weather Balloon. It's already a 2v5. We're only 45 seconds in.
Yeah, that is some serious aggression from boss fight early on.
Well, I don't think they expected anyone in the position that Biggie was in, because it's not a very aggressive push for Volk to get to this position, but for Marsoc to just run in there like that, and Biggie's able to pick up a 4th. This guy is on fire. He's only down. He's able to be rezzed, but he has taken down 90% of the boss fight team, and it's all going to be up to that last member, Legel, now.
Someone check the courier, he's not capping.
Yeah, and that's the only relatively undefended section of the approach. You got Chief Pineapple on this northern wall watching for the ingress, but Legal's not going to be able to see him too early and might get caught out by it. We'll see if he decides to stick to this north approach or try and rotate back around. Yeah, those were some crazy pickups by Biggie there early on. You gotta hand it to him for having that awareness and that trigger discipline, for waiting until he had enough of the members that were pushing through that courtyard to get a couple of quick picks, not let them get refrags. And that's the type of discipline you see from these top tier teams.
Yeah, boss fight, though, they're going to need to rethink that big group pushing that they've done, because that's now twice on their Marsoc rounds where a member of the G-Men has mowed down 3 to 4 of them very quickly on in the match because they're so closely grouped together. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this when they played. Who was it that they played? I was casting, but they ran up to the center burning basically on quarantine, and then they were in a single file line at first, and then they did spread, but their spacing was a little bit wonky. Meanwhile, Swooty gonna pick up Biggie Smalls there in the objective. I'm sorry, in the east courtyard now. Legel and Slooty in a firefight, but Legel's going to be able to get the first pick. He's now let the other team know where he is. He's going to need to rotate, and he is.
Yeah, it's definitely the right choice to make now. Starting to see some more rotations from G-Men. Honey Half trying to come up on this west side and choosing to move back after seeing that smoke. Trying to get a better angle.
Legel gonna get the revenge kill on Biggie Smalls, the man who killed his entire team. But now he's already turned this into a 1v3. Things are looking up for old Legel here.
His rotations are great. He's using that equipment to sort of throw off the G-Men as to his approach. If he can get maybe one more pick here, there's a solid opportunity for maybe a sneak cap. You want to say sneak cap, maybe?
Yeah, maybe just a little sneaky cap.
Like a little tiny baby sneaky cap.
Doing a great job. The man in a dangerous position. He keeps peeking that doorway up there in the top right of the Kiot building, but luckily he comes down. He's still very exposed, but he's in a lot better position now. Will Legel see it? He does see the movement. He's going to fire through the stalls. The man rotating back up top to get the angle, but it's not going to work as Legel's already pushed away. He's running off now. Back to mourn the bodies of his dead teammates.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of time to mourn. He's got a minute and a half here to try to make something happen. Missing those shots on the man definitely is kind of a impediment to his approach. The man really the only person who is on objective. Some of the other teammates sort of on the outskirts of it on the north and west side. And had he gotten the man, it would have been a great opening for him.
Yes, but speaking of not so great things, that smoke definitely not working for him as it gets hung up on one of the ledges of one of the buildings. I think he's rotating smart because he's going to need to take Chief Pineapple out here because Chief is watching that very tight angle, and we'll take a look at it real quick, to be able to catch that cross out from the east courtyard. So
Get closer to objective. Who's on the east side?
Chief's still watching that smoke. Legel now aware of where Chief is just from his call-outs there. We're going to see here what comes about. As long as Legel moves in slow enough, he's going to get Chief. Now he's on the push. The man's going to rotate out in the back up top. He's going to drop down. That's going to be a fatal move, and the trade goes out. G-Men win, and it's now 3-1. Wow. Legel doing a great job there, if I must say, though, in being able to take that from a 1v5 down to just a 1v. Oh, I'll give it to him. I'll say he took it down to a 1v1. Even though the last one that he got there was a trade, he did great.
Yeah, I mean, G-Men really won that one by the skin of their teeth. Had that not been a trade, had he maybe pre-fired that window a little early, that could have been a totally different round that we were watching there. And props to Legil for doing that. That great work, those great rotations, using all the equipment from his loadout as well as some of the loadouts that his teammates and enemies had that he was able to scavenge. And that's really, really well played by him.
Yeah, absolutely. I do agree with you there. And if we take a look now at the scoreboards, wow, look at Biggie Smalls. He has pulled out 9 kills here on Bazaar and only 2 deaths. That's a pretty great Bazaar round. You got to give yourself a pat on the back for that. Chief Pineapple the Man and Swooty all with some kills of their own. Honey Half unfortunately has been unable to connect with anyone. However, to speak on Honey Half's behalf, a great player by the way, used to play for SMC, but now I believe is on the reservist. So I think he's actually in this game here as a reservist for the G-Men. So it's always tough to do it when you're not used to the team and to the plays and the coordination that the team that you're playing with has. Meanwhile, on BossFight, Legel picking up all the kills right now with 6 and 2 deaths. Weather Balloon going to have 3 of his own, and Hoochie going to take 1 as well. But now we're going to get back into the game. We're going to have the south side objective near the Humvees for round number 5 on map number 1. And again, for those just tuning in, this is your Saturday morning coverage of the Onward Master League's Button Cup, the US versus the EU, and today we have the G-Men for the US facing off against BossFight from the EU. We're on map number 1, it's round number 5, and G-Men are just 1 point away from taking the first map. Shots coming out very quickly here as the G-Men get the northwest spawn, giving them what would basically be a quick spawn for this. The Volk members have called it out, so they should know and be aware of where the push is coming from. But Honey Half with a very clutch shot manages to pick up one of the members of BossFight. That's a good start for them. They need this round. They need to go ahead and clinch it here. Keep the score spread wide.
Yeah, just as a reminder, these do count towards MMR, so it is a Button Cup match. It's not the regular league match, but it still does count towards your league standing MMR. So it is important to try to win by as large a margin as possible, and I think G-Men know that here and are playing aggressively enough to try to close this out. And we're in a 5v4, so they're off to a good start so far in this round.
Honey Half taking some shots at Hoochie, but unable to connect. He does, however, give his teammates the intel that that player has now started to push his way back down south. The man making old man noises as he tries to stand up from his position there in the west, and we're back to a bit of a stalemate.
Yeah, not surprising. It's the same plays we were seeing earlier, sort of looking to capitalize on mistakes and rotations.
Speaking of not a mistake, the man picking up Legel and leaving BossFight with only 3 members to defend this quite toughly defended objective. I mean, it's very open, as you've seen. So many different entry points, so many blind spots. If you're the last man up, you just have to be constantly in motion because there's just too many angles for the enemy to be able to approach the objective from and cap that to get that 2 points. So BossFight really going to have to be on edge now as G-Men haven't lost a single man.
Yeah, we're seeing that sort of firing squad-esque line that G-Man is setting up and watching all the different angles, all the different windows available on that side for Volk to take up positions in. Whew, I can't believe how many bullets were sent as soon as he was able to pop up over that bizarre courtyard. Huchi picking up Cheap, and Weather Balloon picks up Biggie Smalls. We're in a 3v2 with G-Men losing 2 so quickly.
Yeah, and the smoke's unfortunately not working out very well for the G-Men. A couple of them bouncing on telephone poles. Hoochie's going to lay fire down on what appears to be Swooty, but he's not aware. They've got Honey Half sneaking up the front side. Ooh, and Swooty and Hoochie going to go on the trade. Honey Half going to hear Weather Balloon, but nothing, no effect. Weather Balloon's going to push in through the building. They're going to meet each other. Weather Balloon's going to take the kill, and the man going to get the refrag to take the map. What a great and explosive ending for map number 1 here, as G-Men take the win on the first map, 4-1.
Oh, wow. That was a lot of action there. That was very exciting. Lots of players picking up lots of great refrags there. Really well played by BossFight towards the end, though. Being 2 men down like that, they really held that offense off as best they could, and it was just a really well-placed positioning by the man there to get that refrag after Honey Half went down in that courtyard.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll take a look at the scoreboard here for the first map, and as you can see, it wasn't a blowout, but it was a pretty bad spanking, unfortunately, for BossFight. G-Men carrying out a 4-1 win on the first map. Biggie Smalls and Chief Pineapple definitely playmakers there. Both of them able to get kills on up to 4 members of BossFight at once, just due to the spacing of BossFight. And while we switch lobbies, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the 4-1-1. The next map going to be Quarantine. So, you know, you asked me what I was hoping that we would get as far as map selection goes, and, well, this is the one I was hoping that we'd get next, and here we are. While the players load in, let's take a look at Quarantine and what Quarantine has to offer here in Onward. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Quarantine. One of my favorite maps. I think one of the probably the league's favorite maps, as we do see it quite often in league matches nowadays. So I'm glad to see it. So now that we know the second map, Noman, I'm going to reverse the question that you asked me onto you. What are you going to hope to see for the final map? What are you expecting?
Oh, I have to say Downfall. I mean, these 2 slow, methodical teams taking their time on these maps and getting these crazy angles and these long shots, and you know, not without a few heavy offensive pushes as well. I think that's going to be one of the better matchups, matchup maps, I should say, for this series. But that all depends on who takes this map, because although we will still play the third for that MMR score that I had mentioned, The series, I think, will be a lot more exciting if we see a boss fight quarantine win here, which I think is definitely viable. I think boss fight's very strong on quarantine. When my team had played them on it, it was very exciting match, very tight. And I'm excited to see what they do.
And with that, almost perfectly timed, Mr. Noman, we're going to head into this first round. It's going to be round number 1 of map 2. We're here on quarantine in the Button Cup matchup between BossFight and G-Men. BossFight going to be on the attack here. They've got the center burning objective. G-Men going to be on the defense. Let's see what happens here in round number 2. Also, while we have a moment here before the action gets going, I want to thank Rushers for his subscription via Twitch Prime. Of course, if you do enjoy the channel and you want to see more and you want to support the casters and the league, you can always subscribe to our Twitch channel here. You can use your Amazon Prime subscription to get 1 free subscription a month. You can also, of course, do subscriptions the normal way by paying for them. And, of course, you know, like and follow the channels. Follow our YouTube channel for VODs of these matches that you can watch at any time without having to worry about delays and things of that nature, and being able to skip that initial 10-minute countdown. But yeah, so if you like what you see, make sure you follow all of our various outlets and you know, keep up the support, because we really enjoy having you guys here, and if it weren't for you guys, we wouldn't have any reason to really cast these maps.
So we're going to be seeing this classic stalemate here as both teams try to set up their different angles. The defense playing very uniquely. They're expecting this Western push, and I'm not sure they're going to see enough of it to warrant having 3 members stacked up there. Honey taking shots out towards rooftop there, not connecting with Sharku. What do you think about this defensive spread, Sleepy? This is very interesting. I don't think I've seen something quite this spread out for this objective.
For this objective, this defense worries me a bit. However, the worry can be alleviated if G-Men have the situational awareness to know that they've lost men in crucial positions and rotate. Defensive rotation is probably one of the most important things that you can focus on when on defense in this game. So even with a widespread defense like this, it can be countered with the correct amount of rotation and situational awareness. So, you know, I've seen teams play it wider and still end up being able to defend the round. So it all comes down to knowing that your team is up, and a beautiful grenade coming out there from Weather Balloon straight onto Chief Pineapple at the burning building, and that's going to be a fantastic throw. He threw that from over near the Sarlacc pit over on the western side, so that was crazy beautiful.
And Weather Balloon looking to pick up, or sorry, Biggie Smalls looking to pick up Chief Pineapple, gets picked off from that same location. Meanwhile, the man picks up Sharku as he approached from that far west side, making that defense actually looking like viable. Looking like I'm gonna have to bite my tongue here.
But Swooty making the fatal choice. I'm not sure if he was going for the res on Chief or if he was trying to get coverage on the push coming in here from BossFight, but right now it is not looking good. Hoochie and Legel going to be pushing in, the man in the courtyard, but Legel able to take him down. Honeyhalf coming in as well. Hoochie finds him, and BossFight take their first round here on the second map.
Yeah, wow, that push at the end there was very well coordinated, and you know, the G-Men kind of just lined up and walked into bullets. It's kind of what it seemed like there. They were going one by one and attacking positions where their teammates had already gone down, and kind of really just sacrificing one after the other. I'm kind of surprised to have seen that sort of single-minded or tunnel vision defense from them. I would have expected a little bit more rotation and maybe finding a different angle. But I suppose they were worried about the cap there with the smokes coming out and being down 2 men when the push came.
Yeah, so G-Man only able to get one kill there. The man able to pick up one. The rest of them going to be over on the boss fight side, where Weather Balloon and that gorgeous grenade that he throw gets one. Then he'd be able to pick up two, basically, as they try and come in and pick up Chief. Hoochie gets one on the objective. Ledgel gets one over Hoochie's shoulder, and that takes the map. We take it. We win it. Boss fight's up one.
And a Marsoc win on quarantine is a big deal. These objectives are very difficult to approach. There's a lot of different angles to cover, like we had mentioned at the beginning of the map. And good on them for being able to take their time and pick G-Men off one by one there to take that map win. Sorry, round win. Round win.
Calling it a little early, are we, Noman? You're just gonna give the map already to boss fight? Like one good Marsoc round and that's all Noman needs? It's just like, you know what?
I'm leaning heavily into my prediction, Sleepy. Heavily into my prediction.
Yeah, BossFight do play this map well. Hopefully they don't have the issues with spacing that they had on Bazaar. Otherwise, G-Men might come out and just take that away. Oops, I lost control of my overlay there, and two members of BossFight going to get some early picks in the north side. We'll do our best to get up there before any action continues, but Swooty's going to pick up Ledgel on the refrag. It's 3v4 here on round number 2. Ooh, and the frag comes out from Scooby-Doo. It doesn't connect when he's able to get the shots. Hoochie picks up Biggie, and all of a sudden, just 45 seconds in, 45 seconds in, it's a one-man push. The man calling down the down on the roof and then realizing, oh, I'm talking to myself here as he continues to try and weasel his way around in the western side.
Yeah, that push by Scooby on that west side really bore fruit for them. There was a couple of trades, but they all ended up working out in the end as he was able to pick up the other two members who were pushing in that direction. And the man's going to have quite the uphill battle here. Going to have to get past Scooby. Meanwhile, the rest of BossFight doing exactly what they should be doing, and that is holding tight on that objective.
Wow.
Not giving an inch.
And the man just barely missing a chance to take Scooby down. If he had been watching at just at a different angle, he would have been able to catch Scooby on that rotation going west. And now, unfortunately, he's not going to see it, so his route limitations are going down by the second. He's not going to be able to push west. His best option here, if we look at the overhead map, is going to be to push east. Because the defenders, while focused on the east, they're all kind of set up in that burning courtyard and around the burning building. Meanwhile, in the west, never mind, Scooby-Doo's actually watching east now from the west. So the man's in a really tough predicament here. He's in a 3v1. They are watching the weak side of the map where nobody was really covering before. So now it's going to be all up to just some really clutch picks here from the man as he's able to hopefully clear out some space near the objective. Smokes are out. He gets a nice little bounce off the wall, and now he's going to push west. He may be able to take Scooby-Doo down here if he's quiet, but at this pace, he's going to be picked up pretty quickly. Do you react? How to find out.
I think Scooby's still hoping that that smoke is 4 across on that north street in the center.
When the man gets his lucky first pick, he's brought it down. It's a 1v2. This is completely doable. Gonna play smart. He's gonna rotate back. While we take a ride on board with BossFight. They're looking in the west. Weather Balloon is anyways. He's looking for the man to come out from there, which would honestly just be a little foolish on the man's part if he were to do. Meanwhile, Sharku also looking west, so now is the perfect time for the man to rotate east, and that's exactly what he seems to be doing after he picks up his tablet from this cactus. Since he's got so many dead teammates, he should be picking up all this utility. I mean, you got a frag here, you got a flash here, an extra syringe. I mean...
Yeah, there's an MK18 there with a drum mag. You can always add an extra gun to your loadout. Never hurts.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that that MK18 is a short barrel, so he'd be able to corner faster and less and more inconspicuously, as the barrel won't be sticking out from around the corner before it does. However, that AK-5C, probably one of the most sworn by weapons in the game, especially for Marsoc. But yeah, definitely would have picked up that utility, utilized it for myself. Now he's going to get his way in. We could see a sneak cap here, in all honesty, down that map, so it doesn't shot, but man could possibly have this if he comes up slow. They'll never know, but Sharku's on the rotation. He's going to have to take care of him, and with that, Weather Balloon's going to know that he's there. Man has gone prone, telling everyone he about that action. Sharku's going to peek. He's not going to catch the man in time. Weather Balloon's standing straight up. He's looking over the wall. He's trying to see, but the man in good coverage. He's laying prone. Are we going to see the clutch that we expected here? Is the man going to be able to bring it back? Or will Weather Balloon chuck him a nice little friendly grenade over that wall? Got something in his hand, and here it comes. And it is a grenade, and it does take down the man. BossFight getting their second win here on map 2. And wow, just the grenades from BossFight, especially Weather Balloon in particular, have just been pretty amazing here today.
Yeah, that was a great pickup, not peeking too heavily, rotating down to that same position. You're not likely to expect two defenders to be in the same spot, so a relatively smart choice there for him. And then, yeah, scavenging that utility. Exactly, that's the stuff we were just saying about the man and passing up those utilities. But BossFight is a little bit wiser on that and decides to use that awareness and pick up the man in his sneaky prone position there to give them that second round.
And while we have a little downtime between these two rounds, gonna just shout out to Brass to Mouth. Thank you for your subscription with your Twitch Prime. We, of course, do appreciate it. And also thanks to 4Q for those biddies. We appreciate the bits just as much as the subs.
Yeah, that round came down to 45 seconds. The man was utilizing his time well there. He had a really great rotation, catching the defense unawares there a little bit. That was a very good push by him, almost picking up that round for G-Men, but see what happens here as we move to the next objective, which is the ambulance objective in the south center of the map.
That's right. It's going to be ambulance objective. The Marsoc team, the BossFight team, is going to spawn in the northeast, so bit of a tough spawn. Some folks like to get that quick western spawn, but we'll see how they can push it out. G-Men, this is a pretty tough objective to defend, in my opinion. So it'll be interesting to see how G-Men deal with this. But for those of you not catch it, this is going to be round number 3 and map number 2. As G-Men try and fend off BossFight from getting that second map win so that they can take the series here in 2.
Keep the prediction dream alive. Hunahap in a good position here to try to catch some of these early crossers on BossFight. If he just peeks that rock a little bit more, he might be able to catch Lagill and Sharku as they move around. Sharku's actually in a position watching Hunahap's area there. But so far, they're holding steady.
I think Hunahap's plan here is to watch this tight angle on the south street, make sure no one gets into that 5-story building that we're seeing off to our right. And then if he hears something close to him on the other side, he'll then take the risk and peek. But I think playing it safe on that far flank is probably pretty smart. If we go ahead and take a look at our overhead map on the defense, while this defense is still quite spread like their first one, they have a nice coverage. They've kind of built a wall, essentially, especially now that they know that the spawn was northeast. They've done a good job of kind of cutting off the lines of travel into that plaza. 90 half's position does finally pays off as he gets one, but Hoochie able to return the favor and get a nice headshot. But he's going to leave his teammate behind there in the street, more than likely due to the suppressive fire ringing out from the objective courtyard here, where Chief Pineapple is suppressing with LMG fire. Chief taking a lot of risks here, but this grenade's looking good. Arku taken down at some point. I didn't quite catch who got that. But it couldn't have been, it had to have been Chief.
I believe it was Chief as he came across that smoke that was a down. BossFight still has 5 up, however, getting a second revive on the round and pushing up here, throwing a grenade out towards Pineapple's position and is able to down him on the objective.
Biggie picks up Weather Balloon with a great call out from Chief Pineapple. Chief Pineapple is still alive. BossFight has used quite a lot of their resurrection utility, but the members of G-Men are now pushing their way back in. They've got Chief Pineapple back up. It's now 4v3. But G-Men still have a chance here to get their first point here on the map. Man gonna grab Sharku there. He's firing off from the middle burning building. Now it's up to 3 members of BossFight as they push the south and try and come in on this final objective. Doobie-doo.
Last one is burning, I think.
Doobie-doo calling out a little bit of an incorrect call out. I believe they thought that Chief Pineapple had been confirmed because they believe that they are down to their last defender. Fortunately, that's just not true.
I'm going to try and get to blue card.
And should be able to see Scooby here. And he does, and he gets the kill, and Legel's able to pick up Chief Pineapple in a very clean run for BossFight as they pick up another point here on Quarantine. Wow, I mean, just G-Men just unable to find their groove here on Quarantine, and usually they play Quarantine quite well, so I'm not expecting to see this kind of a blowout so far on this map.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking it was going to go blow to blow with BossFight edging it out in the end, potentially. But, you know, I'm happy and unhappy to see that we are going to see BossFight go up 3-0 early like this. And, you know, you're down, but you're not out. There's definitely the potential here to take back this round. You know, even a quick cap here brings this well within winning range for G-Men. So I wouldn't count them out just yet, but you know, my prediction is ringing true so far, so I can't be that upset.
Yeah, and currently right now the overall score via points is tied. It's 4-4 as BossFight or as G-Men were able to win the first map 4-1. Then you add the 3 points BossFight's got here to the 0 points G-Men has, and it's 4-4. So score margin very, very close. Great game as we've seen so far on this map. Hoochie getting a lot of the kills for BossFight, while Scooby-Doo and Weather Balloon also picking up quite a few as well, most of those being grenades. Meanwhile, the man just on fire here. He's got 5 and 3. The rest of his team, unfortunately, not able to pick up as well, but they are doing their part also. So here we are. We're here now on round 4 of match 1, or map 2, sorry. Early smoke's going to come out from the defense as they are going to try and push some members east, while the Marsoc spawn is in the north. A rather quick spawn in order to get view on the objective area, but the smoke's going to help them out with that.
And G-Men not taking those early peaks as I would have expected over that hill, but instead opting to sort of spread out and try to get a better view on all sides of the positioning of Bulk.
He already able to connect with one as he picks up Chief. behind, just nearby to the cement trucks in the west.
Yeah, and if you're G-Man, that's not what you want. You don't want to get caught out like that early, being down 3-0. Hopefully they can turn this around.
Oh, Hoochie is a left-handed shooter. I was wondering why I could actually see down his sights.
Grenade out to roof.
That call out was grenade out to roof, and that grenade just barely missing Biggie. I mean, what placement on that? If it had just been air bursted maybe a half second sooner, you would have seen it down on that roof, although likely to have been revived by his teammate Scooty in the back there. Still a great throw. Lots of amazing grenades. Still seeing sort of this stalled out offense on the east side. We've got two Honey Half at the cement trucks. The man looking across from the motel right now. They got plenty of time to work with, however. They know they're a man down, and I think they're still definitely within range of being able to pick this up if they can just get Weather Balloon, the defender on the east side, down.
Woody gonna finish off Sharku on the objective area, or not on the objective area, on the burning building area. Man gonna take some shots at Legel, who's on the objective location. Not gonna connect though, and now Weather Balloon should have an idea that he's here. Now it's interesting to me because the last time I saw BossFight play this map was against Danglers in our button cup, or no, that wasn't a button cup match, that was just a challenge match, but either way, and they played that aggressive defense where, like you can see there in the center of your screen, where they have two members on the center burning building away from the objective. That did not end up working out well for them in the end. Eventually the Danglers were able to come down from the north side, take down the two in the center, and then pick off ones at the end, leaving just the man on the objective who, for his own safety, rotated for better defense, and it ended up costing him the cap and thereby the map. But I think this defensive strategy could use a little bit of retooling, in my personal opinion. Take that with a grain of salt.
And Hoochie had just missed Honey Half's rotation into that engine. They're now trading blows. Honey had thrown a grenade towards Hoochie and just missed, and Hoochie's able to pick up Honey at the engine courtyard there and bring it down to a 4v3 boss fight up.
Smoke comes out from the man. Weather Balloon's gonna get a little antsy. Man not really looking that direction. He's gonna get down on the ground. The firefight's happening in the west, but nothing coming out so far. The man now gonna rotate around as he was shot at by Legel. Meanwhile, Biggie Smalls picks up Hoochie. Hoochie grabbing Biggie Smalls there in the center. But Biggie's gonna still be able to be rezzed, so he is in good shape as long as his teammates can get themselves around to him. I think BossFight need to be concerned with their rotations now. Weather Balloon gonna down Swooty, and the man's gonna grab Legel on the objective. So here's exactly what I was talking about. Both of their guys way off the objective right now. Some grenades coming out from Scooby as he tries to push. Weather Balloon's gonna be pushing over on the eastern side. Unfortunately, the man not quite ready for that, and BossFight gonna take the win, but that could have very easily gone down to a cap for G-Men. But wow, great plays there from BossFight. They take the second map 4-0 and go up 1 in points. Overall, 5-4.
Yeah, that is a great set of plays by BossFight there. Didn't let G-Men develop anything. Used their utilities and their smokes to get into great positions early on. And were able to take that round. And no means prediction. Up 1-0. Up 1-0, Sleepy.
God, I love you, but she's
Want to rotate back in?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and we have a great map coming up for you now. We'll head back to our war room here as we let you know the final map gonna be. It's going to be cargo. So we're going to be seeing hopefully some action-packed rounds here as these two teams slug it out to see who's going to take today's Button Cup matchup. But who knows? It's cargo. Anything can happen, and I mean that so literally.
Yeah, this is definitely a 50-50 map. I mean, you know, teams have strategies for it. There's definitely different methods of approach and different levels of aggression, but man, sometimes you find your stride and you can take down 2 or 3 in certain positions, and other times you are just, you know, a lamb to the slaughter on this map. And it always lends to some really exciting plays. I'm excited to see what happens here.
Yeah, and while we wait for the teams to ready up, we'll give you guys a little bit of a glimpse into the cargo map. I'm sure a lot of our Twitch audience here today knows cargo by now. A lot of them being League players here in the Onward Master League. But for anyone out there who's not a member of the Onward Master League, who just enjoys Onward or is interested in VR or what we're doing here, just take a look here at the roll as we go through, and we kind of give you a glimpse as to what to expect from the cargo map. Right, and with that sound, we are getting back into things here on the last round.
When the be by tunnel. Be by tunnel, and you two to sort of keep an eye on me from here. Oh, fuck. Look at this. I threw it all the way.
Seeing some early smokes come out from the BossFight side as well as the G-Men side, looking to set up their cross on that west side as they try to push through. Lots of early shots, lots of that early pre-fire we're so used to seeing on cargo. Nothing finding any purchase just yet.
Demon using a little bit more aggression. They're pushing up much quicker than we would typically see them in these last few maps. They do play cargo quite well. Play aggressively is what a bit weaker, so I'm hoping that they're not playing aggressively to try and throw off BossFight in order to gain the advantage. But it is working somewhat. Chief Pineapple able to get a kill off on Scorpio, who incidentally would have been also killed by the frag that came out. Frag's going to come out from Scooby-Doo, but it's too wide. One from Hoochie is too long. Now the man's aware of Scooby-Doo.
One's at red box by tunnel.
Scooby-Doo is picked up there in the firefight. He has now been taken down. He is revivable, but he's no longer with us. Flash comes out from Legel. Pretty sure Swooty is blind as he's just kind of sitting the open.
Actually, I do have to correct you. Scooby did not get picked up. He's just laying down, tending to be dead, I think.
Ah, yes, I see him moving now. Legel does manage to pick up Biggie Smalls, though. It's a 4v4 here. Hoochie grabs the man. It's 3v4. Swooty gonna catch Legel on the rotation. It's 3v3 now as G-Men prepare their attack position.
Swooty was hit by that flash, keeping his head down. A smart play there.
Voodoo's actually managed to make his way out from his corner, and he is going to have a great flank angle here on either Chief or Swooty, but he will have to worry about Honeyhalf, who's going to be coming up from behind him. He may be able to get the flank off on him, but Honeyhalf, unfortunately, kills Chief Pineapple. Swooty takes down Scooby-Doo as they trade. Scooby also grabbing Swooty. Now up to Honeyhalf, who is
Instead of black man, sorry.
now apologizing, misseeing friendly teammate, and he is now alone on the final push in a 1v2 to go for the objective. Fortunately for him, though, he was a previous member of SMC who had a very strong play, who has very strong play on cargo. So not expecting to see this necessarily be a wash for Honeyhalf, as he is quite the skilled player and has plenty of experience on cargo from playing with SMC.
Yeah, and this is one of those situations where you can really see how playing as a reservist can be tough if you don't know your team's plays and your team's rotations that you are playing as a reservist for. Things like that can happen. You know, it's hard to blame him.
Oh,
especially
absolutely.
in such a high stakes match like this one.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and we've all done it. It's, you know, that it's that battle fatigue, that stress being placed on you from just being under fire, and in this case being in a competitive match with something on the line. It does get the better of you sometimes, but it does not get the better of Hoochie, who manages to pick up Honeyhalf and give BossFight their first point here on cargo.
Yeah, what a great round by BossFight there, holding some really tough angles, but not letting G-Men get too many good grenades on them or any early shots. We saw a lot of that pre-fire coming out, not picking anybody up, and I think that definitely gave them the advantage there as the Marsoc push kind of stalled out in the middle, and there was some rotations we saw that didn't quite pay off and gave that round to BossFight, but very good round, just like we'd expected from these two teams.
Yep, absolutely. Cannot complain. Been a good overall matchup so far this morning. Been a great way to wake me up, if I can say.
Who needs coffee? Coffee's for the weak.
Best part of waking up is Onward in your cup.
I'd buy it. I'd buy that product.
Would too.
I think we already have, Sleep. I think we already have.
Line and sinker.
And on that cheery note, we're going to dive right into round 2 of this final map to decide the series. G-Men now on the defense, calling out no caps. They know what they need. And try to hold this defensive round against BossFight.
And Chief Pineapple making sure everybody knows what the deal is. No caps, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they do not want.
Uchi having a little trouble throwing this grenade. I think he wanted it to go back over that wall and ended up just throwing it behind him. And two teammates of BossFight, 3 actually, laying down, looking underneath these doors of the container. Uchi finally able to get that grenade away. And they're all just looking for this defensive push, looking for these quick picks, but G-Men not giving up an inch just yet, although a little bit more aggressive on the defense than BossFight was, taking up positions in those 2 center buildings, looking for any BossFight member who might not be checking those corners.
Yep, I think the Europeans are tired. Most of them, as you mentioned, are on their bellies. But you know what? Can't blame them. There are some pretty good peeks from underneath those cargo bay doors. Makes for a bit of a slower play, which we're not used to seeing, especially if you're used to watching the U.S. matches here on cargo. Typically, those are just blasting dynamite matches, just bang, boom, bam, boom, bang, and it's just over before you even realize the map's even started.
I love your active description of North America matches. Great. Somebody could just clip that for me so I can have that just
Personal
in my
collection.
own back pocket. Yeah, just to have Sleepy calling out the sounds of explosions. I love that.
Not much still happening. A few shots coming out. None connecting, though. Pretty boring start thus far. We're 2 minutes in, and not the single person has been killed.
And they are calling out, yeah, those shots were just through the smoke. He was just trying to see if he can get a pick, and the man picking up Chi on that tight angle from that center. Kubi now thinking about whether or not he wants to try and make that peek as he stares at his teammate's fallen body.
Yeah, I mean, if you see the teammate's dead body there, you definitely don't want to push out to that angle.
Lots of long shots coming out, not able to connect with people in their little hidden corridors, but call-outs coming out nonetheless, trying to paint a picture for their teammates of where the enemy positions are.
And I love that Scooby-Doo talks so loud because I heard him from like 40 meters away on the camera calling out a member in Willow's spot. So obviously Willow the Wisp spot from that Animal House boss fight series back before OC5, really ringing a bell with them. Legel should be able to pick up the man, but oh no, I'm mistaken. The man has moved around to the other side of that building. Able to take Legel down with little problem here as Legel exits the door frame. Oh, and the man and Legel trade, but the man is still revivable. Scooby-Doo trying to make a push. And no, Biggie Smalls confirms the man instead of reviving him. Honeyhap gonna hear Scooby. It's now a 2v4. And this is all Biggie Smalls' fault because he's the one who had to go and kill his teammate. Weather Balloon in a firefight between Chief and Swooty. They're not going to let him get out of here alive. But he does have the fortunate shield play on his side. Scorpio able to take down Swooty. Honeyhap hears the shots. He rotates back to cover. Chief able to revive Swooty, though, very quickly. Nice revive response from Chief Pineapple there.
Yeah, not to mention that shot was amazing by Scorpio, laying down and actually shooting Swooty underneath the door there near the objective of that container. Those container doors are dangerous. Watch those ankles.
Yes, they are. Honeyhap takes some shots at Scorpio as Scorpio rotates around to the backside of the map to come around, but Honeyhap is aware of what's going on, and he's going to push for himself to cover that exit from the tunnel, which he believes Scorpio is going to use, and he is going to be right. Meanwhile, Swooty picks up Weather Balloon. It's all up to Scorpio, and Honeyhap should have Scorpio dead to rights here as he exits from the building.
Saw his leg.
Not mind the audio coming in from the previously deceased Weather Balloon. That is an observer glitch. You are hearing someone who is completely dead, as I can show you here. And Scorpio gonna grab Swooty. He's smart. He's gonna rotate back. He's not gonna give Honeyhap the satisfaction. Honeyhap looking a bit confused, wondering why his friend won't come and play with him.
Oh, he's going to have to come play now. They're down into the 25-second range of this map. Scorpio does not have time for that rotation. And Chief Pineapple steals Honey's kill. Honey not quick enough to pick that up as he comes out. And G-Men take that second round for Cargo on that third map.
Oof. Got ourselves a game here.
Yeah, and this is that 50-50 that I was talking about before we launched into the map. I mean, this can go either way for either team. A lot of it is timing based. Staying on those call outs, making sure you know who's rotating where the push is coming from, and both teams doing a great job on defense so far in locking down the objectives. Chief Pineapple's no cap mentality ringing true, and we're into a 1-2-1 G-Man boss fight on Cargo on this third map. That's one of the problems of having such a slow offense and or defense on maps that are small like this. You run yourself out of time. You spend so much time watching corridors and looking under doors. You don't actually have time to make that final push. Scorpio ran out of time at the end there and had to make a push in a very dangerous position, getting himself caught out, mostly because he had to do something.
He did. He had to do something. There's nothing he could do. I was honestly very, very surprised he was able to get out that door in the tunnel with Honeyhap watching it like he was, but he just came out like Usain Bolt, just sprinting full dead ahead, and he got past Honeyhap, but unfortunately for him, Chief was sitting there already watching that door. Chief giving a little bit of advice to his team, letting them know they're going to try and take the middle away from us. Partially true as they push up, but not quite, as they didn't quite get as aggressive as going all the way to those middle buildings.
Yeah, what's interesting about this round is the objective didn't move very far. It moved about 10 feet to the other side of that container. We're seeing a very similar objective push, so we're looking to likely see the same kind of offensive maneuvering that we saw in the last two rounds from both teams. And see what they can change up to try to turn the tide and get a Marsoc win.
Shots ring out from the silence as Legel fires on a member of the G-Men, but he is unable to connect. Now the grenades are going to start to come in. Swooty better be careful. He might be taken out by that grenade, but he is safe behind closed doors. Nice long-range frag coming in from Weather Balloon, but it is not going to connect. Hoochie's going to take his chance now. And unfortunately, a lot of utility wasted there, as none of these grenades are making any connections. Woody returning a frag of his own, and he's going to pick up Hoochie in the corner. Weather Balloon's going to be well aware of it, though, and he's going to rotate in and get the revive. But still an overall beautiful grenade from Swooty there. Oh, and the grenade's going to come out from Scooby-Doo, and Scorpio's going to turn the corner, take down Scooby-Doo, and the grenade is going to get Swooty, who is then confirmed by Scorpio. Scorpio is going on a freaking tear here. He's killed just about everyone. And Scorpio, when he gets turned on, he is on it all day. Honeyhap was waiting for him to come in the door, but he is going to be waiting for nothing. As Scorpio is going to come in from the other side, and he gets the kill!
Oh my goodness, that was like a Terminator. It's like watching the Terminator play. I mean, he was just coming around corners, killing everyone. No one stood a chance there. Great play by Scorpio.
What? Wow. Scorpio, man, just coming alive. Granted, he did kill Scooby-Doo after he heard Scooby throw that grenade, but more of a reaction kill than a calculated thing.
It was like a team kill rage moment there. He got mad at himself for killing a teammate and decided to take it out on G-Men.
And take it out on them, he did. My God, that was an amazing run from Scorpio there. That will definitely be going in the VR Respawn weekly show next week as one of our featured clips, because that guy just blowing them away. Wow.
Good stuff, but still just defensive wins. Still no Marsoc push, managing to make it really even past the sort of the half court line here on Cargo, getting shut down at every angle. That both defenses playing super strong, whether it's the slow defense or Scorpio's one-man army play on that last round. I'm gonna see if G-Men can do something similar.
Well, we gotta hope so. They need to keep this score close, so they can't let BossFight take and run away with this now. Now it's BossFight's turn to attack. G-Men gonna be on the defensive. We'll see if they take their more aggressive defensive approach and go all the way up to center half to cover those angles, but I'm expecting we won't see too much movement from BossFight until at least the 2-minute mark. I exaggerate, obviously.
Early shots coming out on the man. Hoochie looking for call-outs, letting him know he wasn't making it in the building. Swooty throwing an amazing grenade, bouncing down Hoochie again.
And then Hoochie's grenade that he was getting ready to throw takes out Hoochie and down Scorpio. So much utility wasted both on the resurrection and the frag side. That's very unfortunate. Scorpio kills himself with a knife.
I am so confused. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, you can kill yourself with a knife, but at least on the legacy controls where you have to hold the trigger to do it, you can definitely kill yourself. I think on the grip option where you just toggle, I don't think you can kill yourself with it, but he did, and I guess he was just really upset about losing Hoochie there. He couldn't take it anymore. Life was piling up on him, and
Now that's solidarity. That is teamwork right there.
it is. Not quite sure what Legel was hoping for with that long-range smoke there, but it's out. It worked. It went where he wanted, I guess. Oh, now I see. It's to cover up those green barrels where Biggie Smalls is sitting there. Legel and the man going to be facing off here on this corner again. He's aware, but Biggie's going to grab him from a different angle and snag the headshot. And that frag from Chief Pineapple does take down one of the other members of BossFight. So quickly, in fact, that the kill feed didn't even register it. Now it's all up to Weather Balloon as he pops smoke outside of the tunnel.
Yeah, we're seeing that same defensive blow for blow, although this time around I think it was less G-Men winning this round and more BossFight losing it, as they had a few issues there with grenades and knife kill on yourself, stuff we're used to seeing in these types of matches with these types of players, but had to have been a reason, and Chief picks up Weather Balloon at the end there to take it to 2-2.
And this is exactly what we wanted to see on this last map. No blowouts here. It's all tied up in the series, one map to one map. Someone's got to win it, and we don't want it to be a blowout.
No, we don't. And neither do the teams. I mean, I'm sure they want the blowout, but I don't think they came in to expect it on this, and they're playing exactly like I would have imagined they would have played. Trying to squeeze every little bit out of their defensive positions and their offensive pushes. And so far the offense not quite finding their stride just yet on either side.
Yeah, well, to be fair, this can be quite the difficult map to really... And offense is always the harder of the two sides to have to play. I mean, you have to do something. You can't run out of time. On Volk, you can just run out the clock. I mean, other than getting kills or, defending the objective, you just run out the clock. On Marsoc, you run out the clock, you give the other team a point. So there's so many more ways, I feel like, that you could lose points. I mean, you could fail at your cap. You could all get wiped out. or you could move too slowly. Too European, if you might say. JKUU.
Whoa.
I mean,
Shots fired.
bang, bang. Or you can move too slowly and run out of time and give the other team a point. I mean, so there's 3 ways you can essentially give the other team a point. And on Volk, there's only really 2 ways. You die, or they cap on you. So, I mean, it is what it is, but yeah, Marsoc definitely having lesser bit of advantage here when it comes to playing. Anyways, we go back now to our gameplay. Round number, sorry, that was not right. I missed it the last round. So round number 5 here on the final map of the Button Cup in Season 6, Week 9. G-Men versus BossFight. Series all tied up 1-1. We're going to see who takes it here. Maybe G-Men have what it takes to grab this cap and end it right here.
Yeah, this is dangerous territory for both teams this round and the next round. A cap will shut it out. Honey with that amazing grenade again, catching Scorpio. I mean, just quarter-mile away from that grenade, but he is down. And hopefully we'll be seeing a revive here as Scooby rotates up.
Good smoke placements so far from G-Men. They have kind of blocked the view of some of the defenders. Yeah, as we talked about, Honey Half's grenade, just fantastic. He's showing that SMC grenade skill here on Cargo, because if you've watched any of SMC's matches here on Cargo, they are just really good at their frag placement. Same with Globo, actually. When SMC played Globo and they played Cargo, it was like a frag fest. It was just throw to pre-planned spot number 1.
Tunnel, they're trying to flank.
Calling out the tunnel as a flank, however, no real forward progression being made, so not really quite going to be the flank that they imagined, but they can just stay clear of that tunnel, leave Weather Balloon all over there by himself, and possibly be able to take out the rest of the defenders for the cap here. But interesting defensive spread, Noman. What do you think about the way BossFight is playing this defense?
You know what? I think it's actually kind of what I would have expected. The objective is in an open area. It's hard to be too tight on it. And you kind of just want to watch the approaches rather than the objective itself. Weather Balloon's a little bit out, but he's kind of playing both angles there, right? He's watching the tunnel and he's also watching that western approach.
Legel all the way in the back. Going to be able to pick up the man as he pushes up through the eastern door. One of the center stacks.
On a half sending shots down that way, knowing he's there but not able to pick him up. Weather Balloon, Capital, start push, picking up Chief Pineapple.
Honey Half able to re-secure Scorpio after originally downing him back at the start of the map. Fortunately, though, they're going to have to get a couple more picks before they're safely able to secure this objective. Biggie and Legel picking up Honey Half. Same spot, basically, where the man died there in the exit of that building. Maul's going to need to be careful here as he pushes towards the objective. He needs to watch for Hoochie. He's not going to see Hoochie. And BossFight are going to be in a 4v1 here. Swooty, the last man up. Wiggity Swooty's coming for that booty, but Weather Balloon says no booty for you and takes BossFight up 3-1 here on the last map of the day on Cargo.
3-2. 3-2.
Oh, 3-2. I'm sorry. Look at me trying to give people points.
Come on.
Not give people points. I'm even doing it to my own American brethren.
Oh, you're a real Benedict Arnold today, Sleepy. Really letting us all down. No, it was a great play by BossFight. It was a really great defense. That long range position from Legel, being able to pick up a couple in the center was pretty clutch for their defense, and they do go up, and we're seeing 5 Volk rounds in a row for both teams, blow for blow.
And looking at the scoreboards here, a little stats on some of the players today. Chief Pineapple having a great round here on Cargo. He's 5-3. Woody and the Man picking up 2 for themselves. Honey Half and Biggie picking up 2 as well. Honey Half, I believe, would have 1 more if he had not killed Chief Pineapple in one of the previous rounds. Hoochie, Legil, and Weather Balloon all kind of carrying the weight quite equally, with only Scorpio being up with more kills, and that's just because of that insane rage kill that he had after killing his own Weather Balloon in the round just before that.
And we're going to dive right back into this in round 6 of this final map of the series in this Button Cup matchup between G-Men and BossFight. Can G-Men hold the defense, take it to the last round, or is BossFight going to find that magic push for Marsoc and make it through
The tough
to
thing,
take this series?
yeah, the tough thing for the G-Men is going to be here. Even if they win this round, their next win has to be Marsoc. There is no other option. Same thing for BossFight, though. They've been given the opportunity to win here, but they have to win it on offense, which, as we've talked about, is not necessarily the easiest. A lot of times, Marsoc being the more difficult of the 2 teams to be able to focus in on. But we'll see how they do.
And the grenades just keep raining down. Hoochie picking up Biggie Smalls with an amazing grenade on the objective. Pineapple able to get the revive, however. The Man is able to make a crucial pickup there, but it's answered pretty much immediately by BossFight, taking us back down to a 4v4. Scorpio taking shots out towards Chief Pineapple. Swooty and Hoochie trade, however. Just a down, and Hoochie is back up by the good graces of Weather Balloon. And we're into a 4v3 boss fight up on this offensive round of what could be the last round of this map.
Turning the corner and taking some shots at the Man's last known position, or maybe it was one of the other members who were just there a moment ago, but the Man a little antsy here. Not sure that that's too smart. He's making a lot of noise. Scorpio's not very far away. He should be able to hear this. Man could actually do quite a bit of damage here if he pushed out right about now while Scooby-Doo there in the back is not checking this flank. He could actually come around from behind and get quite a few kills to help even things out for the G-Men here as they battle for their chance to get back into this game.
Yeah, it's not quite over yet. We all know how quickly you can pick up a couple of kills on Cargo and turn the tide for your team. And seeing as how the offense is stacked on a side that the defense is not quite all over on that side, we're seeing a western push from the Marsoc boss fight team and a more eastern stacked defense, staying close to that objective. And we're now seeing those smokes to make that push in towards the objective from that west side. No movement yet from G-Men to counter.
Western approach is working out. The smokes have done a great job at covering the G-Men's visibility. Going to be able to get in quite close here. Weather Balloon's going to use his shield to probably take down Chief Pineapple there in the back as he's hidden in that cheeky little spot where it's very hard to be seen as a Volk player. But a frag is going to come out, I believe it. It does! It grabs Chief Pineapple. And BossFight are set to take this round 4-2. Uchi able to take down Honey Half, and things are not looking good. The Man all by himself. He's got to rotate now, but he's going to have to push through some pretty open area.
Jill spot under the pipes. There's also one.
Uchi takes down Scooby-Doo, who was just giving out very valuable information. Very bad call on Scooby's part. The man's gonna grab Hoochie. Things are working out so far. Scorpio and Weather Balloon, though, are pinching him. Man's able to take down Scorpio. Weather Balloon able to just not make the shot. The man is now back on the objective, and it's a 1v1 for the final, for what could be match point here on Cargo.
Yeah, Chief is making great call-outs here. Letting the man know Weather Balloon's position as he moves around. Weather Balloon at kind of a disadvantage here as he doesn't know where the rotation from man went. He did see him cross those green boxes. But now he's taking quite a dangerous rotation as he's far away from the objective. Weather Balloon could just rush and try to cap, although he will be called out by Chief. And the man's coming around behind Weather Balloon. Weather Balloon doesn't see him, and the man grabs that round for G-Man. What an upset for BossFight. Holy moly.
Yeah, and this map just got real.
Wow. And just on the heels of me saying you can turn these maps around on a dime, the man proves me right again as he clutches that round for his team. And Chief Pineapple with the amazing assist, great call-outs on his part after going down. The wrong confirm coming out from the BossFight team members there at the end. And yeah, I may have quite literally shot themselves in the foot on that Marsoc round.
Yes, they did. Well, Hoochie killing out Scooby-Doo there was not a great thing. Scooby was giving out very, very vital call-outs, and it would have done well for him to just hold his fire. I'm pretty sure because Scooby is actually an American who's playing with a European team, Hoochie just heard that American accent and was like, kill, kill, kill! And he just came around the corner and blasted Scooby. But yeah, it's very unfortunate. Scooby giving some very good information out there, just as Chief Pineapple did for the man after he was taken down by that great grenade from Weather Balloon. I'm going to actually start calling you Grenade Balloon, Weather Balloon, and I hope you're fine with that because you have had some just beautifully fantastic grenades here today.
Yeah, and he's not alone. Both teams throwing some pretty incredible frags into some most likely pre-planned positions, getting great pickups, and slowing down either Volk or Marsoc on those pushes, having to get those revives.
All right, and here we go. I don't have a button for it, so I'm going to give you 2 buttons. It's going to be round number 6 plus round number 1 for round number 7 here on Cargo.
Yeah, and we're seeing pretty much the exact same objectives every time, as this objective is the same one we saw in the beginning of this match. Not a lot of variety available here as we get into the last round.
Pineapple able to pick up Weather Balloon pretty quickly. Scorpio just on the other side of the wall from Chief. Chief isn't going to be aware until it's too late, probably.
And Chief's rotation there was pretty much perfect, as the grenade would have caught him out if he didn't make that doorway.
And Biggie Smalls moving up now onto Scooby's position. Swooty, if he just slides out that door, he can actually take down Scorpio with very little pressure. I mean, Scorpio's legs just pushed right on through. Swooty's got to see this. Tell me Swooty sees this. Oh, but he's going to use the grenade instead. I would not have done that. Scooby, though, going to use that aggression to come out. He takes him out and is going to be able to revive Scorpio, and that's just not going to work out for G-Men here. But it is a 3v3 as one member of BossFight was picked up in that last little exchange off screen. Scooby going to grab another one with Chief Pineapple. It's now 2v3. BossFight going to get aggressive. Now Scorpio's going to push up. He's going off for a hard flank. He's going to run into the man here soon, and if he's not paying attention, the man's going to hear it, but he's not reacting. Something's going on here. Why is the man not moving? He now hears Scorpio's call-outs. He's ready for the push, but I think Scorpio may end up rotating back to his defensive position before the man actually reaches him. Oh, and Scorpio. Very happy with that win as he takes it home for BossFight as the last map closes 4-3.
Holy cow, guys.
Cow is right, Mr. Noman. We have had ourselves quite the game, as we can see here. BossFight going to take the very last one, 4-3. Score on quarantine. What was the score on quarantine again? For some reason, my scoreboard stopped.
It was 4-0.
Okay, so then it didn't stop updating. I just. Pardon mine. So yeah, so a total overall score of 9-7. So that's good for G-Men. They do lose the series by maps. Unfortunately, fortunately for them, though, they are able to keep it close in points. So that MMR loss and the gain for MMR on BossFight will be pretty negligent, honestly. So nothing too bad to feel anything, negative about. I think overall the whole game, both sides, was great. Both teams making some mistakes. BossFight's biggest mistake being that grouping where they were able to be taken down like sheep in a slaughter. And then G-Men, off the top of my head, I don't know. I'd really have to go back and rewatch. But either way, both teams having a lot of strengths, both teams having a lot of weaknesses, and some great plays coming out from both sides. So just been a great match. Noman, anything you have to say regarding the match? I mean, we're not...
No, they both played very well, and Cargo played out pretty much exactly like we had envisioned. It went bulk every single round. Marsoc was able to find too much purchase. BossFight kind of giving away that Marsoc round initially with a few mistakes in that 6th round, I believe, and the man able to pick that up for G-Men, keep the dream alive. But yeah, BossFight able to take it with coming alive, so to speak, towards that second map. And yeah, gave us a great game to watch and a great game to cast.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, it was a great game to cast, and we want to thank everybody for tuning in this afternoon. We do appreciate you guys. Of course, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which I believe is just youtube.com/Onward Master League, but you could always just do a search for Onward Master League and it should come up for you. There you can watch all the VODs as they've been recorded and transferred over from our Twitch here. So yeah, and of course, thank you all for being here. Of course, without you guys, we would have nothing to talk about. So anything you'd like to say, Noman, before we sign out?
No, just play a bunch of Onward, guys. Download it. There's a new update. Lots of neat, cool things to be doing in there. There's going to be a lot more games on that version as it becomes more stable in the coming weeks. And yeah, tune in as much as you can. We're always trying to bring you as many games as we can. And we'll be excited to bring you a matchup later on this afternoon, as Sleepy mentioned earlier. SCK, Stone Cold Killers that is, and Ember playing it out, I think 4:30 Pacific. And that's it for me.
All right, and with that being said, we'll say aloha, adios, and sayonara to all of those in the chat. We hope you join us later today as Nightfire and myself cast that match. And until then, everybody, stay cool and have a good day.